Hello, my name is Nono, and I will be guiding you through Chapter 1 of Intermediate Python. Python is a popular programming language that is used most commonly in fields such as data science, web development, and game development. Some of the advantages to using this language is that its syntax is similar to the natural language that we use. There are a lot of efficient, robust libraries, such as NumPy. This also makes the language beginner-friendly. So here's a fun example. This is a machine learning demonstration that can predict what digit from 0 to 9 that you've drawn in the box. So I'll draw the number 8. And it says here that your number is 8, which is correct. So you can make these kind of cool things in Python. So here are some resources that are used in this lesson. One is repo. You don't need an account to start coding here. Just key and press the start coding button that you see here. And then choose the programming language that you will be using. So in this case, it will be Python, and then press create repo. And yeah, you're ready to code here. The course content is in here in Thinkific. So once here I have made an account, can go down to all the courses and choose your course. And then look into the course materials. So yeah, you can see the exercise problems. You can take the quiz. And your teacher also may use Google Classrooms. So it looks something like this. And make sure to check with your teacher the password to your room. And you can look at all the coursework, the homework that has been posted, and your classmates using the tabs on the top. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the tools that we will be using. Now we will move on to learning about comments. Comments are part of your code that the computer skips over when the code is run. It doesn't do anything to the program, so you can put them anywhere and as much as you like. The general purpose of comments are to make your code easier to understand and maintain. Putting a hashtag before a comment lets the computer know that this is a single line comment. Using 3 single quotes or 3 double quotes will instead let it know that this is a multi-line comment. So you can go to repo and try yourself. So for example, you can type in hello. With multi-line comments, you can repeat it several times. And when you try running the code, nothing happens because this is a comment. So next are inputs and outputs. So let's say you want to give a kind greeting to whoever ran your code. So in that case, you can type in print hello. Running this will print out the message that we just typed in. And let's say you want to put in the person's name as well. To do that, we will need the input function. What the input function does is print out the message that we put in here, which is called a parameter, by the way, and then takes an input of what the user typed. So we can put in a name, and the program ends. So somehow we want to move the name that we typed in next to the hello message so that we can have hello name. So to do that, since the input function returns the name, we can actually put it right next to hello, like here. So the things we put into the print function, again, which are called parameters. So the print function can take as many parameters as you need. In this case, we have hello and the name, and it prints everything out with a space in between. So as you will see here, yeah, there is a space in between hello and the name that we put in. If you don't want spaces in between, you can use a method called concatenation, which is a plus sign instead of a comma. So you can see there's no space in here. You can also split this into two statements instead of one. So instead of this, we can just put in the name. Doing this will make it print the text in separate lines. So one thing to note here is that the input function will always return it will always return the input in the string data type, which means if you want to use that return the value as a number to use in calculations, then you will have to convert it to the right data type later. More on data types in the next lesson, so you don't really have to worry about that right now. So while coding, you may also have noticed that the computer will let you know when you've made a mistake in your code. So this brings us to the topic of errors. So let's imagine a scenario where I have typed print rain. So the nice thing about REPL is that it automatically gives you matching double quotes and parentheses and such to have you avoid syntax errors. But let's say that I have made a mistake and deleted this closing parentheses. So you can see a red line right here, and then there's a red warning sign, also a rectangle at the end of the line. So that is called a compile time error, and it happens while you're writing your code. So instead, let's say I typed 3 divided by 0. This does not give a compile time error since in terms of syntax, it makes sense. But it is wrong to divide by 0, so it returns a 0. It returns a 0 division error, which is a type of runtime error. As in the name, runtime error happens when you run your code. So there is a thing called exception handling that people use to avoid runtime errors. So, all right, let's do some practice problems to test what you've learned. So you can pause this video right now if you want to practice. Go on to Thinkific and practice these on your own. So I will try working through each practice problem. So first, hello world, print hello world to the console. So this is done by print hello world. And as you can see, it runs. For the next one, we will have to print my first chapter and good morning and 3 other messages that we like. So for that, I think we should use separate lines for each message. So I will use separate print statements. So I will type in 3 random words such as dog, flower, and 3. And the messages are all printed out in separate lines. For the next one, we will need to write a program that asks the user for their favorite color, then outputs the message, I live, insert color here. So we can use a similar strategy as in a previous example. We can embed the input function inside the print function to save space. So for example, my favorite color is green. And I will say, I love green too. So it works. For the next problem, echo, write a program that asks a user to enter a message, then print out the exact same message back. The program should repeat this input-output process 3 times. So there is a thing called an if code loops, which we will learn in future chapters. But now, for now, I will just use plain old print statements. You can use, again, the same strategy as in the previous problem, and then repeat it 3 times. As you can see, we have typed a lot of echoes. All right, so that is all I have for this lesson. As a summary, we learned about comments, inputs and outputs, and errors. So yeah, try finding some creative uses for the things that you've learned this lesson. I hope you enjoyed learning about Python, and thank you.